this video goes out to the Vatican and the priests, Roman Catholic, which works for them. How do you think you're even going to get away with your child molesting ways? God finds each you blasphemy. The reason that each of the priests do not go to jail, get swept out of the church they're in, proven beyond a reasonable doubt, with proof even, that they molested boys meant to serve in the church, not to serve some perverted old man's will. Diplomatic immunity. The reason that the Vatican claims to be able to move them to another convent or another place where they're in safety to be retrained is because Italy created the land surrounding the Vatican itself to become its own country. No courts means no justice for the children. They think God forgives. They've been doing this since the beginnings. Spirit told me when the priests were living at the time of Jesus living, some of those souls are alive in those in the Vatican today. God shows me the souls of all those on earth so I can find anyone, anytime, anywhere, through image as well, through truth in the picture, truth in the situation. For instance, a question like, show me which souls lived at the time of Jesus who were priests. There's 6 around the world. I'm not saying they're all around the world, but in the world, there's 6. Now, those priests then, at that time, Spirit said, went up to Jesus. 19 years old. Still young, they're older. Mature. Their only will is to spread God's word. Jesus claimed to know God's will, that God speaks to him directly, which was absolutely true. But the priest said, tell us what God's will is, and we will spread it. We have seen through seers that your life will be shortened, so that when you pass and go to heaven to be the next God, we will spread your words. But the people don't listen to us. There's so many other religions. The Romans come in and they control everything. please, Jesus, give me and my underlings, my other priests, power in the mind over the people, your power as you have. Jesus is only trying to spread his Father's words. He felt, wow, they do know more than me. They have more experience on spreading God's will. He agreed. Now what happens when you give a greedy, evil, sexual perversion, who also likes to torture, priest, conversion to Christianity? A power of a God has over the minds of people. Yeah, well, we're experiencing it today. Yeah, I'll get to that. At least it's in the world. It's not what's going on today, but it has to do with a piece of it. So Jesus agreed. And he said, Jesus, in the future, though, when I pass over, and my underlings, my priests pass over, there's no guarantee you're going to get faithful followers in future priests. Give me and my underlings the gift and the power to be able to choose the souls in heaven which get put into a mother's womb of that child that is destined to be a priest. Let us choose which ones are chosen. Jesus' Spirit said, thought about this. Said, I have this bad feeling about your underlings. There's something dark there, I'm not sure. It's like it's blocked. Like they're clearing their thoughts. Like, okay, So just the one got the ability. That's why at the Vatican, to choose a new pope, black smoke will come out when they have found the right soul. They still practice it today. Only they didn't choose the souls who had lives of living peacefully, spreading God's will with love and with hope and with inspiration as it was meant to be. With lies and deception with a little bit of truth. They read from the good book. But do they follow it? They think because they're preached they can get away with all that they have done and continue to do. Now let me tell you, we're getting to the part about how it deals with the future. One year, I was looking up on WikiLeaks when the Vatican building was first built. Spirit with Jesus, Jesus was furious. The year it gives, he claims, is 1 year after his murder. Each of the priests picked up and moved to sit at the right hand of his conspirators to murder him, drain his body of blood so that he can't come back, is why they did it. It wasn't just to cause him torture and pain. That was all part of it. If you're going to be so good and so kind, I'm going to torture you and see how good you are at the end. Insert X dollar sign and, I'd like to say a lot more. At least a chosen word, but for that kind of a bastards. Those bastards. They picked up and they moved to sit at the right hand of the Romans. The ones in charge. Why? The Romans didn't want to go to hell. So these priests just... Who do you think was in the ear of the Romans in order to murder Jesus? False Son of God is what the priest said. He's just here. He's going to usurp your power. The ones in Rome, I mean, not the ones that was by Jesus. He would have known that. He would have sensed it. He would have seen their soul and be able to tell. But however, manipulation seems to have been just a part of their being. It wasn't just something that came on all of a sudden. Because when you're new at manipulation, you can't hide your thoughts. But when it's a part of you, oh, they were good. They were real good. I hate mind games. So, let's get back to that. 1 year after Jesus was murdered, Vatican sets up shop in Rome. Oh, They have a torture chamber that was built at the same time in the basement. Now, call it a quirk. You know, when I first, when I was picking up at a previous place I used to live a few years back, 3 years, Spirit told me something like exactly like this, but I didn't want to bring. I'm trying to bring God's will and God's words out, and I was trying not to destroy the very foundation it was built on. By mentioning this torture chamber and mentioning the child molestation. I mean, it's going to stop. God wants it to stop. But, quirky thing. Since I mentioned I am coming to Rome to see the Vatican, I want the public to see this torture chamber. But those that listen to me, which is the Canadian Secret Service, of course, the Vatican found out, because I was looking at a picture of the priests, and I was reading their photos, communicating with what's going on in their head. They cemented it up inside. You can't get into the basement no more. Oh, you can get in to down the one set of stairs. They have a wine cellar. But bordering that wine cellar, you can never know. 4 1/8 inch thick walls. The other side, there's actually stairs going parallel. Down there, cemented up. Now, why would they fear me coming there? Truly not that I can afford it. But, you know, just at some point I will. Oh yeah, and I want television crews. As soon as the room is opened, live. There's, you know, the blasphemy thing. It isn't that the room is there, or the fact that the shackles are still originally made. They're in well working order. Runaway boys who worked at the Vatican, serving in some way, shape, or form. You got blood, DNA evidence surrounded down there. Why? Because they have power. The until most recently, reminding God of the blasphemous way against it. God wanted it stopped, but he was waiting for me to bring it to the people's minds, to wake them up to the blasphemous ways this world is turning. And you know what? It does begin with the Vatican, with the Roman Church, Roman Catholic Church. Now you know where the name came from. Because it's not just torture that they do down there. Nowadays, you'd never know it. They'd be able to say, your son? No, he left here. Maybe he ran away. You know, and one spirit told a parent, I remember hearing him speak of a male friend to live with, to move in with. Is the truth to move in with. His blood is down there too. And don't be shocked. The Spanish Inquisition, all the times in history that there has been murder and bloodshed, and in God's name, he was waiting for me, or someone like me, to come through and say, see what they do. Those who is blasphemy, to be pretending to spread your will. The Spanish Inquisition was the most torturous time period. They had apparatuses to conversion to Catholicism. But it was truly the pleasure that they felt from making others feel pain. They knew almost all were innocent. They lived peaceful lives. Jesus with Mary, when they lived, and the church forbid, the priest forbid that they ever be married, because how could a demigod be married to a lowly human? Well, his Father, he who is the King, chose her to be his lawfully wedded wife. They loved each other heart and soul. They had children, which is what, and Jesus wrote this all in the scrolls. He gave to the priest to spread his words. This is why the Da Vinci Code, the Vatican went all out to stop its production before it even finished, to prevent its showing in all theaters around the world. Because if Jesus and Mary had children, who's going to follow the priests? Do the priests' thoughts get taken into account? Or does the direct descendants of Jesus with Mary come into fact? Thank you for being my parents of my soul. One of my souls. As a prophet, each prophet has two souls for balance. One male, one female. Spanish Inquisition, Jesus with Mary's children lived there, well, descendants, with still gifts spread throughout their generations. While the church had power with Jesus, which was the most powerful, right? At that time. At that time, priest. That's why I'm here. It was a ruse to convert to Catholicism. Well, they did love the torture. But the torture was meant for Jesus' Mary's children. Make them beg to die. But, see, Jesus was in heaven at this point as God who reigns over earth. So when these priests passed over to the other side and they get up there, well, they've still got that power over Jesus. They tell him, make him feel love. Their words come out of their mouth. Their thoughts aren't even a consideration. We were only doing our best to spread your will, God, without actually looking deeper inside to see what was truth. I'm waking up the world to see the truth. Spirit told me every religion except blasphemous A-word religion, that they believe in the A-word. Every other religion is peace with harmony. It is God. It is only the one God. It is the God. Different colors, what they depict God looks like, many arms. To be completely honest, demigods have been born to earth well before Jesus. Who do you think Samson was? Who do you think Moses was? They were all prophets. And what they do with their time, or what is their destiny? See, the people of Egypt were being tortured and maimed and kept captive. So God sent in Moses to save them. Samson had incredible strength. He could knock over walls of buildings, and these are heavy walls. Blamed his power being in the length of his hair, which is really a mistake because it's all throughout his body. But he was a glorious man. He did his best. We all do. And if living life, you do good works in the name of He who is the King and He who is the God in heaven, you may be blessed to be the next God, born special, with psychic gifts, with added extras as you go along, as you earn them. It's like going to the next level. I'm just here to stop the killing, to find the culprits, to end the murderous rampage and the torture of people, and making them stupid with the chemicalization. Protect the children, above all. The priests no longer have power in the will. I do, but it's limited. I have a strong sense of free will for others to have free will. I don't want somebody doing something for me just because I told them to. Who wants a yes man? Who wants a yes girl, a yes friend? I don't think so, Jack. Even to come get me, save me from this hell with my son Jamie. My daughter's already lost. Lost to them. And I want nothing to do with her. I've seen the truth that is within her. Yeah, I know. My son Jamie, he and I, one day, will break free of this tyranny and desecration of the human mind and the human soul, making people do the most ungodly things. Hatred. So many people, and it's the children and the parents. The children doing to the parents, and the parents doing to the children, and the African American doing to the white or the cops, and the cops doing to the African American or the Mexican. When does it end? When we rid this country, I want out of Canada. I have no use for it. They began this mess. They can keep it in here. Lock it up and don't let none come out. I mean, in the United States, eliminating each and every one of these chemical drugs that this chemicalization has been inserted into. Clean up the entire country. And when Canada's done killing each other, technically, it was the United States citizen. Well, it wasn't called the United States at the time, but the natives from the south came up north. Lots of trees, fresh running water, plenty of game. They were citizens of that land. And there used to be a commercial on on Canadian television. You should do little history, little action, not interactions, reenactments. And one was these natives. They were having like a powwow, and these British guys came off the ship, said, "What is this land called?" And it shows the chief pointing to the village and saying, Canada. Canada. And the translator saying, he's saying that the village name is Canada. Canada. And so the bigwig, who doesn't want to seem stupid, as I read from the truth in the situation, not from the photo, of course, because it's fake, but, or from the photo, but from the video. But the truth of it is, he did not want to seem stupid. His pride was, he couldn't understand anything, and he prided himself on knowing languages. Nope, he says this land is called Canada. So guess who owns this land? Let them take care of each other. I really have given up. You can't tell them nothing about criminal activity. Why? Because they have so many of the police officers drugged, so many of Canadian Secret Service, so many services all through, all across, from BC all the way to the other end, because I don't know what province that is. Just not good on geography. Don't let it happen to the United States. I can save it if there's enough officers to listen, because no killing can go on without the officers. They're first and foremost who they target. into their officers' drinks, into their sandwich, wherever they can put this chemical in order to get to them later on. So it goes through the bloodstream. Whether it's detectable, I'm not sure. But it's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. There's no more I can say. But it started with the priests in the Vatican. Find that torture chamber. Let's blow this wide open. Focus on the Vatican that was built, because I'm not sure if they might have another building similar they may refer to thereof. But the actual building built in 300 and something AD, I think it was. WikiLeaks said, that building. If you have some sort of an eye scanner for rooms below, oh sure, they might have marble. Maybe it can't see through marble, but I'm sure it can. But what about the wall going towards the wine cellar? I bet you can look through the wall and see that there's another staircase right there. They didn't think of that. Anyway, I hope this finds you each well. Help me fight the desecration of the human race. Be well, each you. And don't let anyone stick you with a needle on the street. See much? The ones that have been already chemicalized, they don't think. So if you see somebody else this happening to, and you're on the street and you have a license to carry, bring them to justice, not shoot, I'm saying. Hold them still until a cop can come. Still have some questions for them. You keep an eye out for your neighbors, because if your neighbors aren't safe, neither are you. If your co-workers aren't safe walking down the street, or some other stranger might walk the same path as you often and you never noticed before, look around. You see anything suspicious, you call the police or the NSA.